Saturday night in Philadelphia, the combination that holds the ECW title, baby. We're coming Saturday night for two things. How about it, Mr. Monday Night, Saturday night in Philadelphia?
It's not just an ECW title, it's the ECW television title. Not that Shane Douglas has been defending his title lately or anything, but I'm the television champion. And after Saturday, Sabu, we're going to have the tag team belts. There's three of us. We need three belts. 2 and 1. Right down the middle. Right, Daddy? Oh, what was that? Okay. Rob Van Dam and Sabu are going to take the tag team titles from Chris Candido and Lance Storm. And guys, hey, there's going to be consequences that you're going to have to deal with. For instance, Lance Storm, no offense, but I don't think they're going to keep you around much. I mean, you're just so boring, you know? It's not like they need you, but we'll get you a job. Hey, we've got connections. And Chris Candido, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not my fault that after you lose your title, your old lady's going to be banging on my door again. And speaking of banging, Francine, we'll even let you touch the gold if you let Fonzie here touch the silicone.
Oh, yeah.
How about it, Fonzie? Hey, you want to touch it too? I'm just thinking he needs to give it a little test. I mean, they look good and stuff. But hey, okay, Lance Storm, Chris Candido, we're coming to take your titles. Blow the whistle.
Hey guys, it's your guy, Mike Thunder, telling all of you people that there's a show tonight that we're all piped up about. Besides, it's Wednesday. You know what time it is. And also, I want to say for the record, the other day, a woman was talking about how men should be obedient, right? And she had a giant ring off, which is cool, and that's great for those who want to show off their lovers like that. I have nothing against that. But I've also learned that even the biggest ring does not mean anything when you're feeling the attraction of Mike Thunder, the whole fucking vibe. What's happening, everyone? It's, of course, your host, Mike Thunder, and welcome to Volume 3 of Mike Thunder Era. Nice little intro y'all heard, right? But there's some truth to that theory. Don't get it twisted. I'm all for being loyal and being in love and all that. But hey, if you're not doing your job, I don't care how big your ring is. I don't care how big your wallet is. And I don't even care how big your junk is. So I don't even know how to pull it off. The law of attraction that is Mike Thunder. Because let's be honest, if this was regular Mike, it would have never worked out. But anywho, just wanted to add some humor to that statement earlier. But there is some truth behind it as well. See, I like forbidden fruit. Who doesn't? Okay, it's the best fruit to enjoy. And I'm I'm also a person who enjoys when people tell me, Mike, you can't pull it off. Mike, you can't do this. Mike, this is never going to happen. Listen, just because you can't pull it doesn't mean I'm not going to try. And if I don't make it, I'm going to try. Tonight's guest is a prime example of the phrase, damned if I do, damned if I don't. I'm going to try, from the grave to the backyard. If you remember the old school wrestlers, the Moondogs back in the day, this guy's basically paying homage to it. And I don't even have to mention all of his accolades, but I plan to because, well, it's my show. And two, every guest on the show gets a bomb-ass intro that I guarantee you, not just guarantee, but I'll put my rent money up that no one else has pulled off an intro like the way I have, because every time a guest comes on, they say it every time. What a great intro. Best intro I ever had. I'm MC Hammer. You can't touch this. That being said, he's basically been everywhere, okay? He's been on front row material. I would say, is one of the pillars of guests I've had on Mike World Order. He was on the first Great American Bash campaign I did, and he still has the t-shirt to prove it. He's been on various episodes of mWo After Dark. He's been various promotions in the independent circuit in his area, as well as Effie's Big Gay Brunch, which is produced by Game Changer Wrestling. He is also the current, I think it's pronounced POW Entertainment heavyweight champion. Even though he has been slimming down compared to the first time he's been on the show. This guy's been putting in work, and he's lockjaw because he's the prime example of Temple of the Dog. And he's going to bite you raw. But at the same time, he's also a very kind person as well. He's one of a kind. He's very genuine. And I'm so glad to kick off the week of Thunderslam 2 with our very own. You know him as Moondog Greg Murray. You know him as the dog-faced bastard Greg Murray. You know him as all sorts of things. But to me, he's always going to be mWo's Moondoggy. Welcome to the show, champion.
Long time no see.
I
Actually,
know.
I don't know if like the last time I was on was like a year ago, but something popped up in my Facebook memories of me on the show. So it's definitely been a while. It was definitely at the very least last year, or at the very longest. But it was great to be on, and I appreciate that intro. That was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And, I got to top off the intro with one more thing, too. Guys, and this is for all fans, bookers, seminars, all that shit. If you want to contact this man, here's reasons why you should. And it's endorsed by me. So you know my shit is real. Let's check it out. Yeah.
That took me 4 hours to make.
But you know what's funny though? So, um, so first off, what did you think of the new intro to the show now? The whole rebranding, as you can see.
I dig it. I dig the music too. I was getting into it.
Oh yeah, I was on a West Coast excursion and something was inspired. One of the tracks I was listening to in downtown LA was that. And for those who are curious, it's O2 Underground by Skelter or
Mm.
Skeller. I think it's how it's pronounced. I'll send you guys the track for those who are interested. But I heard that track and something just like clicked in my head. And mind you, I had on my Mike Thunder era shirt, and which you can buy on Shop MWO that you'll see at the link scrolling down. Shameless plug-in, I know. But something clicked in my head when it came to it, and I had on my Mike Thunder era shirt on, and I was at a round one, and everyone thought it was like an anime-inspired tee, so 10 people bought a shirt.
Hell yeah.
So that was a nice little chunk of cash that was made, but it wasn't even about the money. It was the fact that people actually had an interest in it.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, man. But I've still been watching you on my radar, even though it's been a while since we had you on. I know you've been doing your thing out there, discovering more levels of yourself. And trust me, Big Brother has been watching the whole time. Mind you, I don't, and I sadly say this, I use other alternative streaming. I paid cash to watch that Big Gay, Effie's Big Gay Brunch, just to see you on there,
I
Moondog.
appreciate that. I know now they switched it to the Fight Plus service, so you got to get the monthly service just to watch GCW in general. But I know there's like other stuff on there, so hopefully that helps with people leaning into subscriptions for that. But I was gonna I was gonna buy the LA one just outright, and then I said, oh, you got to subscribe to the thing. I was like, oh, okay. So I bought a year I paid $70 for like a year subscription. I'm probably gonna only use that thing twice. And it's to watch both brunches.
Dude, you gotta watch Talking Shop 1 and 2.
Oh, I remember Talking Shop. Yeah, I got the first one. I remember buying it because it was like $15. That had to been.
I was like that was 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, that's it. That was definitely like 6 months before I started training for sure.
Yeah, it was during the pandemic.
It was hilarious. Oh, that was great.
And it gave me like so much inspiration with podcasting, and then being part of FRM and meeting you guys and
oh yeah,
you and Christopher Butt, Liam Savage, yeah.
The OG crew, right?
I mean, Liam's actually a regular on our show on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
He couldn't make it in tonight. I was like, come on, man. I got Moondoggy on, man. Like, literally, I was saying it in my Carl Anderson Southern accent. I was like, come on, man. How you going to do that, man?
I'm sure we'll catch up with him eventually.
Oh, yeah, man. But, yeah, man.
We're whacking.
I've been laughing in my tool shed,
Whacking in my tool shed.
I was like, oh, bring it, Bobby. Hey, did you hear that they're bringing back King of the Hill?
Yeah, I actually started watching King of the Hill last week. Not because I hadn't seen it in since I was a kid. So I finally sat down and started binging it, and I've just been enjoying the hell out of it.
Same here.
So I'm definitely excited for that new season because if the first 2.5 seasons are any indication how good it'd be, I'm down. I still gotta watch the new episode of Futurama too because I got to see the new episode last week.
It kind of makes me wonder how they're gonna do King of the Hill this time because there won't be no Luann. Her husband's not in there either. Cotton died.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how they're going to do this season. I always wondered if they would have struck iron with it with doing a real life film. I was trying to figure out who would I hire to play the real life roles. So far, I can only think of Two people. I can only think of two people.
Yeah.
And once I say the reason why, it'll make sense, right? Okay. So Bobby Hill. I was thinking Lucas Black
Mm-hmm.
because the role he played in Sling Blade, he would have been the perfect Bobby Hill. I mean, he would have been a smaller Bobby Hill, but he would have been the perfect Bobby Hill.
Right.
But then the person I thought of for John Redcorn was spot on. And the only reason it made sense because I saw the pattern on, what was it, The Dark Side of the Ring. I would have gone with Ultimate Warrior as John Redcorn.
A prime Ultimate Warrior.
I would say 92 version.
92. He slimmed down.
Where he slimmed down and he looked more human without his face paint. When he was 280 pound roided up warrior, he looked like unreal without the face paint. So seeing him in 92 where he looked a lot more healthier in the face,
yeah,
at least to me, I think so. Yeah, I would have gone with that version as my John Redcorn.
Who'd you have for Hank?
I couldn't think of anyone for Hank, but for Dale, I was thinking Bruce Willis. I was thinking for I couldn't think of anybody for Boomhauer yet. The only person I could think that would strike me for a Boomhauer would probably be David Spade.
Oh, perfect.
And then
that's it right there.
I would have had who I would have had for Bill. Bill probably would have been I couldn't say Jack Black.
I could see Jack Black.
Yeah, but Bill's taller than Jack Black.
Well, I mean, it's a movie. I mean,
yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying.
Let's take creative liberties here and there.
You know, yeah, I could see that, but I could see someone like Jack Black or who else we know in Hollywood? Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, yeah. I think I'd go. If not him, the other dude from Step Brothers. John C. Reilly, yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see him. What else? So we pretty much got everyone right there, the crew, except for Hank. Who would be our Hank?
Tom Hanks?
Really? You could see Tom Hanks?
I could see it, you know. Like I could see him put on the voice at least.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because of Forrest Gump, but
that's the only. I think that's really my only.
But I don't think he could pull.
And Woody.
You got a friend in me, anywho. Yeah. But trying to figure out who else could we think of that would make a good Hank Hill. I could say Meat Canyon, but I don't know how tall he is. I know you heard of Meat Canyon.
Meat Canyon.
You've never heard of Meat Canyon.
The artist?
Yeah.
The animator?
But then I can also, I got it. What's that fucking guy's name? He played on Eastbound and Down. He put Kenny Powers.
Oh.
Danny McBride.
Yeah. Yes.
Danny McBride would make the perfect Hank Hill. Especially when...
Let's circle back. Meat Canyon. You mean the dude that made the Bugs Bunny cartoon that got pulled off YouTube? Is that what we're thinking of?
It's still on YouTube. Another user put it up.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to confirm we're talking the same one.
I was thinking that because he's got but he's too fat. But I can see Danny McBride because of the role he played on The Righteous Gemstones. Very Hank Hillish, but religious.
You got to CGI that Hank Hill ass on him.
He's perfect, man. You seen it on Eastbound and Down, you know.
He ain't got no ass.
He ain't got no, man. He's got the Hank Hill booty, man. You know. No one look. We stopped saying white dudes got a flat butt. We just say you got Hank Hill booty,
and everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. Everybody, even people who've never seen King of the Hill, has seen his ass on
Exactly.
Twitter or Facebook.
I'm like, oh.
Bobber.
And then there's a recording trap artist who raps in Hank Hill's voice called Hank Trill.
I found that the other day. I just got bored and looked up like Hank Hill AI songs, and of course there's some like if anybody's ever played New Vegas, they know like Big Iron and stuff. They AI'd his voice to sing it, but I found Hank Trill.
Oh yeah.
I sent a song to a buddy of mine who loves King of the Hill.
Then you got his other characters like Bleveland Green and Bleveland Jr. Who else has he had? Because there was one track that was really good that was Bleveland Green and Hank Trill where it's called Stank Out. Talking about some close the window, you're letting all the stank out. Big money got me dripping like a lake now. Big booty bitches got me dripping wet now. That's not very nice, Loretta. And then it's pretty, the guy who does it is pretty good, whoever he is. And then I heard one of them, Mr. Krabs. There's a Mr. Yeah. And that was pretty good. The Mr. Krabs one's been my favorite so far.
I love seeing all the AI covers of just SpongeBob characters in general. They're like, for some reason, Plankton has the perfect voice for like any rock music you can think of.
Yes.
I found one of a Tool song. I found one of War Pigs by Black Sabbath. And hearing Plankton, yeah, oh Lord, yeah. it's worth listening to that whole thing. It's awesome. They're legit. They're hilarious.
I mean, personally, I'm more of a Leonard Skinner guy. So
yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure there's got to be some AI covers of Leonard Skinner songs, right?
Yeah, I mean,
especially Freebird. I mean, come on.
I'm free as a bird now.
Oh God, that's a sore subject right now. Now that I think about.
When I saw Jenny walk off of that balcony, she was gonna jump.
Let's see.
My bad. Did it get a little too dark? My bad.
No. Now I gotta find out if there's gotta be AI covers of Freebird. Let's see.
Either Freebird or Sweet Home Alabama is that's a given. Sweet Home Alabama is a given.
There's SpongeBob singing it. There's one of Donald Trump.
But I'll tell you what, they should have struck it hot. And I hate to say it, I ain't saying it to promote somebody's death, but I'm surprised there wasn't a bunch of Skinner downloads when Jay Briscoe passed away.
No kidding.
Because I'll admit it, I had Give Me Back My Bullets on repeat for like 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I would shuffle between that and Reach for the Sky, which was made by Adam Massacre, who is notorious for doing amazing wrestling covers. Like, I'd probably say my top 3 are his Ultimate Warrior one, his Vader one, and his Seth Rollins. He did a mean Seth Rollins one.
The song they played in the AEW tribute package is in my playlist. I'll listen to that every now and again.
Yeah, man, it was just such a crazy time for it to happen.
Oh my God, I remember when it happened. It's like, now that I've become a wrestler, I think like anytime somebody passes away, it kind of hits me harder. Like I love Dark Side of the Ring, but like there's episodes where I just get really crushed because like all I can think of is like people I know, and like because I know the day's gonna come when I get the news that someone I know passes away, and we gotta have a 10-bell salute or a tribute show for them, that sort of deal.
Yeah.
And there's times where they'll do a 10-bell at a show, and I'm just a mess. And then there's times where they do a 10-bell salute where I'm like, and then I'm like, all right, let's wrestle. It's like, it sucks. But the Jay Briscoe one, definitely, I texted all my friends and said, hey, I love you. And they're like, this is how bad the world is when like you text when you randomly text somebody I love you and the first question is, are you good?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I just watch
It's
yeah, you know.
I mean, it's one, it's a natural reaction, and
Yeah.
two, yeah, I mean, I'm very oblivious to stuff like that. I be fine out. I be oblivious to when I get hit on because I'm used to being the one doing the hitting. So when it happens to me, it just goes over my head. So I completely get it, bro. I completely get it.
Oh yeah.
And plus, I don't think it's just a pro wrestling thing. I think it's any type of brotherhood or sisterhood that you put yourself, part of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd
Absolutely.
be the same way if, like, based on my weightlifting background, if I heard anything bad about my weightlifting coach, it would tear me to shreds because he was like a second father to me. Or any of, famous power lifter or weightlifter. Yeah. I took it hard when, two-time Olympian in Olympic style weightlifting, Oscar Chapman III, when he passed away. Why? Because me and him were on the same national team together.
Oh, that's wild.
We represented the same national team. So when that happened, and he wasn't no old dude either. He was young, maybe a few years older than me, probably. I don't know. Probably, probably was in his 40s, but still, it hit hard because I was trained when I had bigger competitions. His dad was the one that would train and guide me. On
Yeah.
top of, like, if I was at nationals, I was getting not only just my weightlifting coach, but his father was training me. There was another Korean trainer, Shin Ho Kang, which he he actually was the reason I got over my fear of needles.
Really?
I used to be scared of needles and taking them until it was my uh, 17th birthday. And he was like, I heard you're having a birthday soon. I said, yeah. And he was doing acupuncture on my knee because of my bad knee. And next thing you know it, he had at least about 6 of them needles in there. And he lit his cigarette and was lighting each one of them. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, don't move. Don't
Yeah.
move. He said, blow out the candles. And I'm like, no, I wasn't said I was 16 at the time because this was right after probably the best year I had in weightlifting. But this was when it was last minute Olympic trials in Savannah, Georgia, before going to, because I needed to qualify for, I think it was 17 and over nationals. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Um, but I tell you what, my knee was never so ready that day. Not only did, and I was an extra lifter, so I wasn't going to medal, but
Yeah.
not only did I qualify for nationals at the Olympic trials, last minute Olympic trials at that, and not only did I break the Georgia State record, but man, it was such a great feeling of that happening and getting that type of treatment, they got me ready. So yeah, I completely get it. Even if it's with podcasting, any past guest I've had, if something happened to you, yeah, you know, it would tear us hard because once you build that pact with someone or group of people and you build that bond, no matter what happens, it's gonna hit hard.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. It sucks.
it does.
It's
But
just
you know
life,
what?
though.
We're gonna move that shit out the way.
Oh yeah.
We're supposed to be in good vibes.
Yeah.
Definitely am. But Mr. Now is it POW or POWW?
Pow.
POW.
It's
So
pow. Yeah.
Mr. POW Entertainment Heavyweight Champion, how does it feel winning your first ever championship?
It was wild, and the story behind it is super cool. Um, but I can't get into it. Not yet, anyway. Out of respect. It. But when I tell the behind the scenes story, eventually it'll be like, wow, like what? That sort of deal. But for my first championship to be the POW heavyweight title is a huge deal because POW's been around as I think it started as believe this was called CCW or something like that. It's POW's been around for like 20, 25 years. It's one of the longest running indies in this Chicago scene. It was like one of the first ones that broke off from Windy City, which is the big post territory promotion in the Chicago area in the 80s and the 90s. And, you know, a lot of guys ran there, and the promotion I think ran to like the mid 2000s. And I want to say Kalisto came out of it, Mustafa Ali came out of it, my trainer Steve Boz, all the vets currently, like, you know, Vic Capri and Scott Spade and Jimmy Blaze, you know, all those guys. Pretty much any vet you see in the Midwest has probably been through Windy City, or at least knows somebody who's been through Windy City. So POW and CCW being like one of the first ones to break off there, and then eventually it becomes POW. And, you know, looking at all the heavyweight champions, you know, they're all like named vets in the scene. So to be amongst that group of people is amazing, you know. And you know, I have the accolade of the first. I may be the first LGBT champion in general in POW, but I know for sure I'm the first heavyweight champion to represent that group, which is an honor because there's a guy named Mateo Valentine in POW who I would have thought would have been a shoo-in for the heavyweight title, but you know, I got it. I got it first. Now, say Mateo might not get it later, but you know, for now, you know, I'm going to enjoy the ride and see where it goes. But I made a joke backstage. I was like, wouldn't it shock me? I was like, I thought I was so scared of my first championship being from like a shit fed or something or a shindy. But no, I got it from what I perceive as a very prestigious independent promotion out in Chicago, and that's POW. Like, I think the big promotions out of Chicago right now are POW, CSW, Freelance. Of course, AAW is probably number one because everybody wants to go there. Everybody. But POW, you know, they have lineage. They have story. Tony D'Angelo came out of POW. He got I want to say he won the POW tag titles with somebody. I think it was Joey Chichi. 3 years ago, and it was almost 3 years ago to that day when he won the NXT titles the other day, tag title the other day. So it was pretty crazy. And that's one of the big that's one of those big like wow kind of deals. But yeah, at this point I'm rambling, but it's an honor to sum it up. TLDR, huge honor. And I'm glad this is my first championship, you know, because like my big worry was maybe I'll win a title from an upstart promotion or maybe not so quality promotion. I hate to be mean like that, but you know, it happens. But for this to be the first championship, it's like holy crap, because to me it's prestigious as hell.
And that's what you want. You want that prestige, and I've heard of POW even through PWI whenever they do like that, the indies and all that.
Oh,
and
really?
Oh yeah, and I did like the back history with like Windy City Wrestling because I used to watch it through tape trading because that's how I knew about Christopher Daniels, which was weird seeing him in a singlet and a mullet.
And hair, right?
But more the mullet than the singlet. So, you know.
Yeah, I got a box of VHS tapes from my trainer, Steve Boz, and he's having me convert them to digital. I think I get to keep the tapes in exchange. And I know there's a Battle of the Belts in that box, but I've been like converting all the like so we got like a Bad Blood, I got a Sting, WCW one. Then, of course, these were the ones I was looking forward to, was like, you know, the VCR recordings.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because like that one these are the ones I really want to break into, you know. But so that's been a pretty fun project. But I know there's one Battle of the Belts, I think 2001 in there. So I'm definitely, that's one of those, like, I'm going to sit down and watch it as I, you know, convert it.
Oh, yeah. And Steve Voss, If it's the same one that I'm thinking of, great old school veteran tag specialist. If it's the same one that I'm thinking that tag partners with Hawaiian Lion, uh,
I don't know. I don't think that's him.
I
Steve
think
Boz, not
Steve
Oz.
Boz. Oh, not
Boz.
Boz. I thought you meant Boz. Because I was going to say
Boz.
Steve Boz. That's
Boz.
Navajo
B-O-Z.
warrior.
B-O-Z. Boz.
Oh, never mind. Man, you done killed my moment, man.
You got
Dang.
excited. You're like, oh, I know
Yeah,
that guy.
man. I'm thinking, I was like, hold up, you was trained by Navajo warrior and his
No.
tag partner Hawaiian Lion? Holy shit. I was about to say, damn, Moon Doggy. Damn, let's get him on the show. And be like,
I'm sure Boz would still be a pretty fun guest, though. You know, that guy's got a lot of stories.
bring
Yeah.
him on, shit.
Any of the Midwest vets, they got stories for days. Like,
I would love more of the Midwesterners, but right now, I'm just glad to have you back, man.
hell yeah.
And not just back, you're back with some go.
Yeah. Some hardware.
With some hardware. My man got some new jewelry on his shoulder. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, to circle back to it, I guess like 2.5, I've been wrestling 2.5 years, and when I won, I got pretty emotional, of course.
As you should. It all came full circle.
Yeah, it's like, because like anybody who's listened to the FRM, the front row material episode that I was on when I got to talk about leaving the first place I trained at, they one of those deals where they're like, he ain't gonna make it, and I was able to give him the middle finger and accomplish this and accomplish getting on brunch. I got a lot of fun stuff coming in the fall as well that it's set, it just needs to be announced, and I can't wait to talk about them because like super exciting. And it's like that's a lot of I've done a lot of stuff for 2.5 years. Like most guys are still like scratching, clawing, or like trying to figure themselves out. But like me, it's like a lot quicker than I thought, because like that's never been my life. It's usually a very slow burn, and not to say this wasn't a slow burn, because there's still stuff I'm still learning, and there's still stuff that took ages for me to master. But
yeah. I mean, you're still blazing away.
Oh yeah, it's just, but it's crazy because I would have figured it would have took a lot longer than it did. But like I said, like I don't want to sit here and sound like I know everything, because I don't.
Oh
like,
no, you're even the most biggest veterans are still learning. I think for the thing with you is, I think you took on a lot of opportunities that were there.
Yes.
And you got the right look. I mean, you're a character.
Yeah.
That you already got the first thing down, and then second, based on a few of the matches I uploaded, you're pretty much over.
I try.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You pretty much, with your character being a Moondog character, you pretty much got the best of both worlds. You pretty much are able to attract the modern crowd and the old school crowd.
Yes. Yeah, and 90% of the people, like, they love that I'm a Moondog. And I'll get the grizzled vet every now and again going, oh, do you watch the actual Moondogs? Because you're not, because like, I'm not the exact Moondog. I'm not going out there, not saying a word. I go out there with a bone. I brought back the bone. For a while I switched to a flask and a beer every now and again, but then I switched it back to the bone. But like, I come out with the bone, I wear a flannel, I wear a t-shirt, I wear the bandanas, I wear the glasses. Like it's like
you're a modern day Moondog.
That's what I tell them. I'm like, it's kind of it's my own twist. It's a modernized version, which that scares people, especially when you talk about reboots and reruns and stuff like that. When you use the term modernized, people get freak out for no reason before the product is even out there. But but modernized, my own spin, and I have the look, aesthetic. I added the barking. I added the barking, which the crowd barks with it. I'm going out there and doing my best. you get that one or two guys who are telling you, you gotta go right back to that. The actual Moondogs, which is like I incorporate it, but I'm not gonna be exactly that because they are coming off the top of the knee. I'm coming off the top of the knee drop.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I'm doing dives and like 450s or anything. I'm just coming off the top of the knee drop. Nobody does that. It's so simple too. It's such a simple move. But
and then on top of that,
yeah,
like, your character would be okay. The Moondogs have a sitcom and they have a son. This is how his character would be. Modern hip Moondog. And they're like, no, you're supposed to be like this. Put the bone in your mouth. Act like this. No, stop barking. You're not son. You're fucking up the kayfabe.
Yeah, it's and then they gotta
2023.
and then they gotta accept that, like, oh, he's his own man. That's their deal. Like, swinging back to King of the Hill, it's like Hank Hill having to learn a lesson about like, comparing his upbringing to Bobby's upbringing. Like, it doesn't have to be the exact same, and Bobby's his own person.
Exactly. Well, I tell you what, that boy just ain't right.
It all circles back to King of the Hill.
Look, Hank is a prime example of someone who was traumatized by their parents. Okay, that's all it was.
Oh yeah,
Cotton was a son bitch. Okay, like, especially he would give Peggy the most shit, but he likes it because Peggy gives it right back. He loves that shit. Cotton is basically the redneck Minoru Suzuki on King of the Hill.
He looks like him too.
Yes, exactly. Except Minoru Suzuki got legs. But, he'll come on an episode, start fucking with Hank's wife. He'd be like, Hank wife, you gonna fix me some supper, Hank wife? And she'd be like, ready to beat the shit out of him. But Hank's like, no, don't do nothing. She's looking at him like, be a man, Hank. Oh, yeah.
Killed 50 men.
Killed 50 men in China, Japan, Mongolia.
Jesus.
As soon as he see Khan, he think he's back in Japan.
Oh my God.
Or Vietnam. Oh my gosh, that shit was so fucking. And then I think they can have a replacement for Luann, to be honest.
Probably not.
I think so.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. If they were to do a rebooted Luann, I'd probably go with someone like Peyton List.
Mm.
She can make a good Luann.
It's possible. Yeah.
Or another one, if she was, well, I don't know how active she is now, but I'd go with Piper Perabo. She played a movie where she used a Southern accent. It was actually pretty hot. Seriously, it was pretty hot. Like, because it was based, I think the movie was called She Get What She Wants. And it's also called another movie too, like Kiss Me, I'm French, whatever. It's stupid. But the only reason I watched it because Piper Perabo played on it. And I thought she was pretty decent in Coyote Ugly. But when she played in this movie, that's when I learned she's fucking hot. But she used that Southern accent, and I was like, dang.
Damn.
It sounded all corners of hot. Man.
All four corners.
All four corners. I was like, oh, like, even I was using a pretend accent. I was like, oh, like, I just want to grab a lasso and pull you in. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh my goodness.
Turn this romance into a rodeo. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It just, like I said, it was one of those things. It was, oh snap, Jersey Devil, 4 corners, 3 holes, no filter. Pretty much. Crazy. Matter of fact, Moondoggy, if you ever get a chance, tune into tomorrow night's Thirsty Thunder. Our very own Jersey Devil made a special request, and he even supplied us with a whole bunch of it. A tribute to Adrian Street.
Oh yeah, I actually showed that documentary to my parents last night.
Oh yeah, we are basically the the original Gold Dust.
Pretty much.
The original Gold Dust. So he provided a whole lot of good footage, and I plan on using most of it. So if you ever get a chance, tune in.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. At least
Oh, yeah.
catch the rerun because I got practice tomorrow for sure.
The rerun, I can send you the rerun. For some reason, Twitch is not saving my reruns. Maybe
Really?
I don't know what's going on. They don't love me right now, and that's cool.
Mm.
You know, but I'm gonna still do with Twitch because Kick does not provide StreamYard. But when they do,
Which one was it? Kick?
Kick is the new one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like Kick. Okay.
yeah,
Let's
like
check it out.
Super Kick, where you get in the corner and you see him right, and then next thing you know, you go for him and you be like, right kick, and then next thing you know, you look at him and then you're like, guess what? Left kick, and then you just make sure you do the leg slap too before you do. And then next thing you know, you're going for a drop kick, and then you got to figure out a way to do it. Both hands on both legs. So you just jump up and you're like, and then you get them in the forehead like a little tap. Yeah.
So all I'm seeing is League of Legends. My Kick.
Say what now?
I jumped on Kick just to see what it was, and I for some reason it just shot me to the League of Legends page. I mean, yeah, there's people that use it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's telling me how it is, but I'm gonna stick with Twitch for
right?
the time being. I'm gonna stay loyal to the crew.
Lol.
It is Twitch.
Well, if I ever get banned, I know where to go.
I doubt it will get banned. Okay, if anything, they be simping hard because look what they allow on their show.
This is true.
Even though Amarath left and she's on Kick now, and that was Twitch's. That was their high-paying woman. They were getting their money off of it.
And they lost her.
He said, Kick, the shining wizard of streaming, motherfucker.
Now there you go. There's your if you do switch to Kick, there's your streamline right there. The shining wizard of streaming.
The shining wizard of streaming, motherfucker. Even though I don't know. So okay, I did the weirdest thing. Tell me if this is weird. So I sent an audio clip to Nissan, right? Because one, I drive a Nissan car, and two, I got a buddy on YouTube who used to do the music videos for Nissan in Japan and Datsun. And I was like, what if we did like an old school Nissan commercial? And I did like the voiceover, and I'd be like, when your hands are behind the wheel, you do whatever the fuck you want to do.
So maybe if you get rid of the fuck, I think it might work.
Nah, they could bleep it out. I think if they bleep it out, it'll still make it even better. It'd be like straight up, do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Just hear an engine rev when you for the sensor.
Exactly. You know how many people would be making like remixes off of that song?
Oh,
Trent Reznor would probably do one and be like, do whatever the fuck you want to do. And be like, yeah. Which that would be pretty cool if Trent Reznor did a remix off of my voice clip saying that.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Ain't nothing wrong with Trent Reznor.
No, I've actually been the 9 Inch Nails remix of I'm Afraid of Americans by David Bowie. I've been on such a David Bowie kick, and like that 9 Inch Nails remix of it is awesome. And then like I keep listening to The Hand That Feeds by 9 Inch Nails too. It's just the pull. It's like I love the disco sound of them. It's like it gets you like just in the moment.
And they're so ahead of their time too.
Oh yeah.
So I'd say my favorite remix was the one they did of Biggie Smalls, P. Diddy, and Busta Rhymes' track "Victory." And the only reason why I liked that track in the first place, because it was one of the theme songs that Masa Chono used when he was doing NWO Typhoon. I accidentally said the M. But, I mean, I'd mark out if Masa Chono had on an MWO shirt.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one that's... Is that the remix with the N-word in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, as I was saying.
The fact that
love...
you said it so innocently.
I love the Muda's retirement show, or Mudo's like retirement show. He came out to that one. Chono, when he came out to commentary, he came out to that version of the song. I was like, hell yes. Like, yes. I don't know why. I'm just like that one, and then the NWO, like the O, like those are. I need those intros before the you know. I've been playing Japanese wrestling games for the PS2 not too long ago, and I've just been like, because like I've always wanted to play these games.
What, Wrestle Kingdom and all that?
Yeah. I got to play some of Wrestle Kingdom 2, and it's so fun. I love that. I played as Chono in the title match mode, and I got to play as Liger in another mode. I know I got an English patch version of it, so it's mostly translated. Like the only thing that's not translated is like the backstage dialogue, which when there's an update and they do that, oh, I'm playing it. So I'm playing it so hard because like I'm just dying to know what they're saying. You know, I can't read Japanese, so but like,
understandable.
Oh yeah, it's like I really want to know what happens because like there's a part where when I play the Liger one, where you win the Super J Cup, and then Keiji Muto just runs out and gets on the microphone and like says something, and then it leads into more matches. So I was like, what did Muto say? So like that's what's been killing me. I'm like, wait, why is Muto out here?
Muto said, "Don't drop your head like a big motherfucker," and get him a shiny wizard. That's what happened.
Hell yeah.
But, so I've pretty much been doing the same thing, but for me, it's been the N64. So
oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
I got Virtual Pro Wrestling #1.
Yeah.
And I played that game for 6 straight hours. And 2 of those hours was me translating all the wrestlers.
Yep.
And trying to figure that out. And then having to do the same thing whenever I had to unlock a character.
Yeah.
That game is running off of an engine that's basically the equivalent to borderline No Mercy WrestleMania 2000 compared to WCW versus NWO World Tour.
Yeah.
It is a big fucking difference. A big fucking difference. Like I felt like I was playing No Mercy on that game, and it was made in 97.
Hell yeah.
And they had a smorgasbord of a roster because you got WCW, you got NWO, you got New Japan, which was called Neo Strong, and then you got Empire Wrestling Federation, which was All Japan, and then you had Independent Local Wrestling, which was Michinoku Pro, and then you had Dead or Alive, which was basically WAR, and then you had World of Universe, which was basically Pancrase, and then you had Legend, which was like 25 legendary wrestlers from that era added on. Like, This is probably the only video game where you can play with Muhammad Ali, Antonio Inoki, Hulk Hogan, Aja Kong, Manami Toyota, all 3 Tiger Masks, Black Tiger #2, Wild Pegasus, Pegasus Kid, Power Warrior, Kensuke Sasaki, Great Muta, Keiji Muto, Jado, Gedo, Road Warriors, so you can have the Hellraisers on the game. There's no game out there or DLC that you can think of that will come up with that.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck no. You got Ken Shamrock, Bass Rutten, Gary Albright. You got Masakatsu Funaki, Minoru Suzuki in 97.
I'm shocked because like I looked for, and you said this was Virtual Pro, right? The first one?
Virtual Pro Wrestling 64. The first one was on PlayStation.
Was it? Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm. The very first Retro Pro Wrestling, because that's what was made WCW versus the World.
Okay, and then the one on the N64, that's the
Virtual
World
Pro
Tour.
Wrestling 64.
Okay.
That was based off a World Tour. But that game, and then the tournaments are so different.
Yeah.
Like WCW versus NWO World Tour, you're basically fighting everyone on that roster. Whereas every tournament for every championship you're going for has a different theme. Like WCW on that game only had the World Heavyweight title, and it was an 8-man tournament. And then you faced the hidden character, which was Diamond Dallas Page. And then you got NWO didn't have a belt. But then Neo Strong had their IWGP belt, which was called something else. They only had heavyweight, tag, and junior. And you basically fight in a round robin tournament. And then, except for the tag ones and the junior heavyweight, then you had to fight the hidden character on Neo Strong, which was Antonio Inoki. And then World of Universe is a 8-man tournament. But in that 8-man tournament, there's no rope break, there's no ring out. You only win by knockout or submission.
Hell yeah.
And I think Rickerson Gracie's the hidden character for that.
I've been that was another one I was playing though, was I was playing Virtual Pro 2. Another one I found an English patch for, so I was like, oh hell yeah. The only difference was I had to go in and manually change everybody, because of course Liger didn't look like Liger. His outfit was in there, but he didn't look like Liger. He looked like
That's because it was more so like
copyright friendly, right? You know?
Well, not just copyright friendly, because it was an all Japan game. That's why.
Yeah, it was an all Japan game.
So they got all of them. They got WrestleMania 2000 on there.
Yeah,
they got their roster. They got, I think, Michinoku Pro, All Japan, FMW. Because there's actually, if you ever check it out, there's a dude on YouTube who uploaded the whole roster and the outfits of what they wore, in case you ever wanted to check that out.
Oh, definitely. I got to I chose Sakuraba for the story mode, and to be funny, I got, and this is all on YouTube, by the way. I streamed it, and the VOD's on YouTube. I picked Sakuraba, so like, hell yeah, let's be Sakuraba. And to be funny, of course, you pick your tag partner. I picked Giant Kamala. Giant Kamala. He fucking sucks in that game. He is the worst. And like, in the tag matches were a crapshoot, because another thing I didn't know, Sakuraba he doesn't pin. He just goes for submission holds, which is great for singles matches, because like, boom, it's done. If it's a tag match, oh, please, Kamala, grab him. And Kamala, 9 times out of 10, is fumbling through the ropes before he gets knocked out. And then Stan Hansen and Vader in that game are just, oh my god, like they were the ones who constantly beat me, because like everybody else I was able to beat, but like, and I beat Vader and Hansen a couple times, but like, by the time I was done, I was like, I felt like I just wrestled an actual match. I need a break.
I believe it, because I know with VPW 1 on 64, well 64. I know on that game they got Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Aja Kong as unlockable characters.
Oh yeah!
I was like, holy shit!
I gotta play that Joshi PS1 game. I forgot what it's called, but like when I found out it existed, I'm like, I need to play it.
What you talking about? All Japan Women's?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I mean they were the only promotion that came out with video games, because they were the big promotion. Like,
yeah,
JWP didn't come out with any, but if they were smart, this was what I would have done during that time frame. Because the same time frame that WCW versus NWO World Tour came out, we had the WCW Women's Heavyweight title. And then later on, we had the WCW Women's Cruiserweight title. If they would have kept that division going and put some, like, literally, like, some feeling into that, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have done a separate game just for Gaia Japan. Because Gaia Japan, I thought would have been another promotion that would have had their own video game, and they could have used the engine off of WCW versus NWO World Tour or Virtual Pro Wrestling. If they would have done that, that game would have sold like hotcakes.
No, absolutely. But they didn't. WCW didn't really give a shit about that title, which sucks because and also it didn't help was they were bringing in the Japanese women, but that costs that's not cheap. So when your division is only predominantly that, and you can only fly them in maybe 3-4 times a year, it's a little rough.
So I'll tell you what, as a treat, I'm going to tell you the backstory of what happened after the WCW. And if I mentioned it,
okay,
you probably don't remember, but if I mentioned it, but there's a backstory of what happened with the WCW women's and cruiserweight titles.
Okay.
After, the working agreement ended. But like I said,
I'd love to know that, yeah.
If they would have been smart with Gaia Japan, if WCW was, they could have helped marketed them in a video game, because it would have been perfect. Because if I would have done it, I would have done to where it would have been Gaia Japan, right? And then do like VPW, generic versions of the other female promotions, like All Japan Women's. And at the time we had JWP and LLPW, the Ladies Legend Pro Wrestling. If you would have done it just off of them 4 promotions, or maybe Oz Academy, but Oz Academy had Gaia Japan and JWP workers, so it wouldn't have worked. So if they would have done something like that, and then maybe do like a Legends roster, would have been perfect. Would have been perfect. Or freelance / legend, that would have been perfect. But that's just my opinion. But anywho, we're going to go with the first of 3 matches. And then after we play match number 1, then I'll tell you the backstory behind the WCW Women's Heavyweight and Cruiserweight Championships.
And his opponent, hailing from the moon, this is Moondog Murray!
Take a bite out of the barman, baby! Hey, no biting, dude! No biting? I'm ready, dude. Ring the bell. Hell yeah. Don't help him. Stop. Stop laughing. Move up. Shut up. Jim, shut your mouth. Move up.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, the Marman! He got hit with brass knuckles? Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that too? Did you really saw? I didn't see anything. Joe definitely didn't see anything. Unfortunate.
I love that match. That was so fun.
Whoever that one guy in the crowd is, I like him. The one that's like, yeah, go the dog, yeah.
I think that was Jim. He's a regular in the Milwaukee area. I actually got my match notebook here. That was, I just had it. Here we go. That was my 146th match. It was at Fourth Wall Wrestling's Wrestling in the Ring, which is probably my favorite flyer for a show. They literally took the Dancing in the Ring old flyer and they photoshopped the wrestler's face on the characters with the umbrellas and such. Yeah, I wrestled Marman on January, February, March, April. Yes, I have to count my fingers. April 28th. But yeah, that was around the time I had just wrestled my trainer Boz, and then I wrestled Marman, and I think that is what led to vets wanting to work me. Because, like, veterans, especially a lot of the Midwest guys are starting to wind down a bit, and they're not going to just wrestle any Tom, Dick, and Harry, especially especially God forbid something bad happens, and like they get hurt. So I looked at that match with Marman and the match with Boz as like two of my proof. Is like, hey, he could work with vets without hurting them, So it to me, it's the sign of respect, the sign of trust towards me, and I look at it super fondly, especially that match with Marman, because I remember, we had fun, and I always heard how fun it was to wrestle him, and it was awesome. Like it was, I would wrestle Marman anytime. So I definitely want to look back. I think I'm supposed to go back up there September. I gotta double check though and follow up because I wasn't able to do the August show this month because I'm booked somewhere else that day. Good problem to have, but it was like, oh, I wish we had teleportation because everybody wants to run the first weekend of the month. There's literally 4 or 5 promotions in the Chicago area that run the first Saturday of the month. So imagine if we had teleportation where you can zap in, zap out, zap in, zap out. I'd have 4 or 5 paydays, So
That is true.
Look at it business wise and rep wise. I mean, come on.
Hey, I'm sitting here thinking like he's actually right.
Yeah, he's on to something here. Yeah, love that match.
So there was this promotion in Northern Virginia called Nova Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
And that's how a lot of guys got discovered that you see now on AEW, like Nyla Rose, who was a regular in DC and Northern Virginia. Orange Cassidy was a regular at Nova Pro. Wheeler Yuta, when he was called Jimmy Yuta, which I would have preferred over Wheeler Yuta. I met Homicide one time at Too Cold Scorpio. Another reason why my left knee is completely fucked is because Jordan Grace took a suicide dive from David Starr and her whole solid body crashed down on my leg.
Oh, no.
So my leg has been forever fucked up just because of that. Thank you, Jordan Grace. But then I was able to like sit and chat with Jonathan Gresham for like 20 minutes, and we were talking about his history in 01 when he was doing Japanese wrestling over there. And I remember that was what caught my attention about him, because at the time he was the NWA Midwest X champion. And he ended up winning the Ten Nakaichi tournament, which is 01's junior heavyweight tournament that they do every year. So because of that, you win the so the whole theme of Ten Nakaichi is, right, it's a one-night tournament, and everybody has a globe, like kind of like a Dragon Ball, kind of.
Yeah.
And that represents each member that's in it. And when you win, you pretty much get like all the globes and all that. And you also get the championship belt. You also get that as well.
Right.
which also guarantees you a title match for, at the time, the 0-1 International Junior Heavyweight title. But now it's merged with the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title, the disputed version, because their belts are still recognized as NWA titles, but under a different acronym of NWA. Just like I give a different acronym for my NWA titles that I have. But that's a different story. But
The heavyweight title, isn't it the AWA title, the 0-1 heavyweight title?
the AWA belt, yeah.
Yeah.
And they still got the United National NWA title. They got the NWA Intercontinental Tag titles. They got the NWA Lightweight Tag titles. And they have the NWA Unified International Junior Heavyweight and NWA World Junior Heavyweight double titles, because it was originally called the NWA UPW 01 Junior title because it was a working agreement. And matter of fact, Spanky, Brian Kendrick, was the first champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had that belt, and then I think he lost it to Tatsuhito Taikawa, and then it was called the AWA Junior title because they had to work an agreement with the AWA, but they were still using NWA acronym belts, but called it AWA, which was so crazy. And then they dropped the AWA, went back to NWA, but created their own acronym of NWA once the whole dispute with Craig Classic happened over the World Junior title.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal at the time in the NWA. It was probably the only thing that rattled the NWA as being interesting because of NWA Florida having all the belts. Yeah, the Almighty Sheik, who was the first wrestler, in my opinion, to have both NWA and AWA recognized world titles.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig Classic, NWA Florida had the World Junior Heavyweight. The Dark City Fight Club, where NWA Florida had the World Tag titles. So, yeah, it was a big deal. And then a whole big dispute happened, and they all forfeited their belts. But Craig kept his physical one and took it with him to Japan, where he lived there for 2 years. So
0-1 still around?
0-1 is still around despite the situation going on with Shinjiro Otani.
Yeah.
So 0-1 has been doing a lot of merger shows with promotions like Big Japan and 2AW, which was originally the old Kaientai Dojo.
Yeah.
Which is now run by Kengo Mashimo. So they've been doing like a lot of joint shows to help each other out.
We got a 0-1 USA in the Southern Illinois area.
Yeah, Jonathan Gresham's their former champion.
I just texted some guys because like you brought that up. I was like, do they? But I don't think they do anything with 0-1 in Japan.
Nah, so at one point they had, 0-1 USA, and they were supposed to do 0-1 in Alaska, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about doing a 0-1 in Canada, but that didn't work out because they were going to do 0-1 Canada with a Canadian independent promotion, UWA, which that didn't work out because it turned into Toryumon, Canada.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm looking up I feel like when I used to like binge listen to all these different podcasts, I remember people talk about like 0-1 having different schools or something and all around the world. So I imagine that's how they were founded.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
They were short term and they never lasted.
Okay.
Yeah, they never really lasted. Like they did 0-1 New Zealand, which that didn't work out because New Japan was like, we're taking New Zealand.
I was gonna say wasn't that where Fale got to start or
Fale, yeah, Bad Luck Fale, and not even Bad Luck Fale, and then they had this one guy, Dylan James, who was part of 0-1. He was their world heavyweight champion, but then he got blackballed because of a scandal that happened with female wrestler Yuhi.
Jeez.
Who was pretty much jailbait.
Jeez.
Well, compared to him, she was like literally fresh out of high school because she started out in high school, and then she still wrestled for 0-1 when she graduated, and then started wrestling for Stardom, and then all of a sudden she retired. I haven't heard anything new about her, but she could have been a bigger star had she would have stayed in Stardom because she had it. She had the look, she had the attitude, and it showed in her wrestling because she was trained by Ikuto Hidaka. Um, she really played that Rudo style really well until she started being more of a baby face once she got to Stardom. Because let's be honest, you look at someone like Yuhi, if you ever Google it on the Google machine, as Taz would say, you look her up and it's like, okay, she has the badass look, but I couldn't take her seriously as a heel.
Right.
Like that's the look she had, but she was so good, and she was basically looked at as the second coming of Io Shirai because they were about the same age when they both debuted in pro wrestling. Like I think Io was only like 14 or 15 when she debuted.
Jesus, there's a couple different 0-1 USAs. I'm trying to find the one that I know about.
Yeah, because I know one of them was the old NWA Midwest promotion.
That one. That was the one I found. But like the one I'm thinking of is wait, never mind. Hold on. What's this? Oh, god damn it. I love we're just researching mid podcast. It's fun. NWA Supreme in Mattoon, Illinois. Oh yeah, there it is. NWA Midwest. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, you're correct. Cage Match has two listings for two different promotions, but I think they're the same. I think they're the same promotion.
I think they're the same.
Yeah, they're the same. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm surprised at 0-1. It's crazy because 0-1 lasted longer than WCW and ECW combined post NWA split.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 0-1 got started in 2000 when Shinya Hashimoto left New Japan to start his own promotion with Naoya Ogawa. That's what, and it was originally part of the NWA banner. Little fun fact.
Yeah. Wow. Oh yeah. You know, circling back. Speaking of stuff, weren't you gonna tell me the whole like the women's thing?
Yep.
The women's
I
title.
don't forgot about it.
Yeah.
We got onto the topic of 0-1 and all that, and
it just kind of snowballed from there.
Just know, yeah, you know how I am about wrestling. The passion comes out. But anywho, so what happened with once WCW kind of dismissed it, Gaia Japan basically took the titles because at the time Gaia Japan did not have a women's title and did not have, a junior title like most promotions at the time. Only difference is in Japan's women division, when they say a junior champion, they don't mean by your weight, they mean by your age.
Okay.
Whereas WCW, their cruiserweight women's title was based on the weight limit. Like really, the same women, with the exception of maybe one or two, were in both tournaments in WCW.
Yeah. They're all cruiserweights. Now that I think about it, other than Aja Kong and Volcano.
But they were all Japan. They weren't part of Gaia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because WCW brought in, because Akira Hokuto, who was not only a big name in All Japan, but when she did the match at World War III, she was part of All Japan. She was part Gaia Japan, never mind. Because Mayumi Ozaki was there too, because she had Oz Academy as a faction, but not a promotion yet. But basically, they were brought in going up against All Japan wrestlers at World War III. And then Akira Hokuto went over to Gaia Japan and basically brought along the recently, I guess, graduated women from Gaia Japan, along with some of the veterans, because you also had some of the veterans from All Japan Women's that went over to Gaia too, but you had the juniors like Sonoko Kato, and you had Toshie Uematsu, Mako Satomura, who people see on WWE.
Yeah.
You know, you pretty much had those juniors, and then you also had Sugar Sato, who was another junior, and then you also had some of the veterans from Gaia, like Kaoru, who just retired this past year. She was part of the tournament for both heavyweight and cruiser, but basically Gaia Japan used those belts as the equivalent, and then eventually they had the 3AW heavyweight title, which it was called the heavyweight title at the time, which by 3AW meaning All Asian Athletics. I think it's All Asian Athletics Wrestling something. So they finally had their own heavyweight title, and they finally had their own tag titles, which was called the 3AW light, either lightweight or junior heavyweight women's titles. But when they mean by junior, they mean the younger wrestlers, until they later on called it the singles and tag team titles. But they looked at the cruiserweight title as more as the equivalent to New Japan's Young Lions division.
Yeah.
It was only for the junior females, the younger females that are still branching out. So Toshie Uematsu, who was the first champion that wanted being Malaya Hosaka on main event, she never had a title defense. She literally went straight back with the belt to Japan because their working agreement was so short-lived. So she ended up defending it in Gaia Japan. And then they did a super show where it was Gaia Japan and All Japan women's. And at the time, their top junior was, what was her name? Because she was basically the ace of Neo Japan, but she started out in All Japan women's. But I'll probably remember, but she was the second champion that won the belt when they did a super show. And she was defending it mostly in All Japan against their women's division.
Yeah.
And then eventually when they did another Gaia super show, she defended it against Sugar Sato and lost. And Sugar Sato at that event wore Mayumi Ozaki's red outfit that she wore at World War III the year before. Because Sugar Sato was basically the first protege of Mayumi Ozaki at the time when she started the Oz Academy faction. So when that happened, the belt retired because they pretty much cut ties with WCW. Because WCW closed down by the time this happened. So then you had the WCW Women's Heavyweight title, which lasted longer because Akira Hokuto was defending it in America and all that. But then once the working agreement was over, that belt was still being defended in Gaia Japan by Akira Hokuto. And they were going to unify that belt with the 3AW heavyweight title. But Hokuto got injured. So then Devil Masami ended up taking the place, being the interim champion, to fill in for Akira Hokuto, and defeated Chigusa Nagayo, who was playing her Zero character, and unified both titles, thus sealing the end of the WCW Women's Heavyweight title. And also, I remember the second women's cruiserweight champion that beat Uematsu was Yoshiko Tamura from All Japan Women's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think now she's like a therapist, licensed therapist.
God, can you imagine a wrestler being your therapist?
Haven't aged a bit. Still look youthful. Man, I swear. That's why I be loving these Asian women. When they say Asian don't raisin, they didn't lie.
I love anytime we talk about like Japanese wrestling, I go through like my hard drive to see what all I have. And I'm actually shocked I don't have much Joshi. I need to get some more.
So most of the stuff I've mostly got stuff on DVD. Like
Yeah.
I am a huge Gaia Japan mark because it is kind of like if WCW had a women's promotion, this is how it'd be booked, but except better. Um, I literally got like the big all the big shows, and I got their last pay-per-view they did, and I got the Crush Gal's retirement match and Akira Hokuto's retirement match. I got all of that. Chigusa Nagayo's retirement match, which the was basically the last Gaia show, but then she still was producing wrestling shows because she still had a contract. So she had it produced under her Marvels label because that's her singing label in Japan.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much that was highlighted by the return of Sonoko Kato from her 2-year long absence from knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
The Marvel shows were on point. Like my favorite one was Devil Masami's retirement show, and she passed the torch to Toshie Uematsu, who I think is probably the most underrated women's workers of her size in terms of being a very technical sound wrestler. And she's still hot at age 50. Hot damn.
Oh, bam.
I know, right? I mean, I even said it in Japanese on Facebook. I'd marry you, Uematsu-san. And her response was, but you're so far away. I don't know what the heart would want. The heart would want them cheeks, baby.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Okay. Like that woman is still in the best shape of her life, you know. But she should have been someone that could have been the ace of Gaia if they'd done it right. But instead, she was pretty much part of, I would say, equivalent wise, modern day equivalency. Probably the FTR of women's tag teams when she did King of Tag Team with Ron Yu, who was like a Filipino born Japanese from Osaka, Japan.
Oh, excuse me. Drowning on dry land. I just choked on spit.
I'm sorry, the wrestling knowledge was flowing.
Wrestling, the info dump of wrestling.
I know, right? What up, Liam? Hey,
What's
Liam,
up, Liam?
You want to hop in?
Long time no talk.
Long time no talk, man. See, get the band back together for another night. Bring out your Kenny Omega impersonation. Oh, this dude got people at my job doing his Kenny Omega impersonation. It's so
I haven't heard
fucking-
it. I gotta hear it now.
He said, "Oh gosh, yes, Liam, get your ass on, man. You ain't doing nothing." But yeah, Liam will do this Kenny Omega impersonation, and he used to do it on FRM. And I think Freeland got mad from it because he loves him.
Oh, he loves him some Kenny, right?
He loves Kenny Omega more than Kenny Omega loves Ibushi. He said, "No way, I'm busy." Well, fine then. But yeah, a typical Liam Savage impersonation. He'd be like, "Oh, it's so delightful when I'm in the ring and I use my knee for a V trigger, and then another V trigger, and then I go bang V trigger."
I can hear it in his voice as you say it like that too.
And what I'm about to say is even more fucked up. So I was at a West Coast area round one, which is basically the Japanese version of Dave and Buster's, but 10 times better.
Okay.
So we got one in my hometown of Woodbridge, right?
Yeah.
But it's only one story, one area, in a section of a mall. It don't even tap to a Dave and Buster's. The one I went to at this spot had 3 levels. You had level 1, video games. Level 2, karaoke. And then you had level 3, bowling.
Yeah. Bowling.
But it was big as fucking shit. And then on top of that, they had AEW Fight Forever.
Really?
So I was playing with Kenny Omega. And it's the same engine as Def Jam Vendetta that was used on the THQ games that was originally supposed to be in WCW Mayhem 2, which never worked out because WCW declared bankruptcy and said, "Buy me, Vince." And Vince was like, "Yeah, that's good shit." But anywho,
I actually just watched that Dark Side episode earlier, the Bash at the Beach one, and they talked about like towards the end, like WCW getting bought. So funny, mention that.
I haven't seen that episode yet, but I've heard some good reviews about it.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But,
Definitely. It's been a depressing season, so it's nice to be able to breathe and kind of like, oh, okay, it's interesting. It's not like, oh, and he died at the end. You know, that's hard.
I think they're doing that because I think they're revving us up for the Marty Jannetty episode.
Yes,
I think that Marty Jannetty is going to be so crazy to where we're going to catch a contact of all the shit that he bragged about.
Yeah.
I think we're all, even the most sober person in the room watching is going to get high off of that episode. Because I'm just preparing to brace myself for all the crazy Marty Jannetty stories.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I still remember the Mikey Whipwreck told that story on FRM about like Marty Jannetty jumping in the dumpster. He said, the dumpster. And I think he jumped in a dumpster or something. I gotta binge those again. I have a playlist on Spotify. You might be able to find it if you look up FRM or Front Row Material, one of the two. But
I have because I love the early ones where it's
yes,
Mikey and Jerry, but my favorite episode is probably Detachable Penis at number 1.
Yeah.
And then number 2, the Mickey Mouse one with Mikey Whipwreck doing Mickey Mouse. And he's like, Jerry's like, my wife has a Mickey Mouse watch. He's like, maybe you can like do a voiceover. He's like, wake up, pimp. Huh? Get your lazy ass up. And I'm like, huh? And then he's like, keep going. Then he's like, hey, Pam, you lazy mother beep, beep. He's like, no, not all that.
I remember I've told the Rosenthal story to a couple locker rooms. When the one with when Ron Simmons was late, missed a shot for ECW, and then the next day he shows up late because he had to drive, he couldn't fly. Because like Heyman would get you on bereavement flights to get cheaper airfare. So they wouldn't let Ron Simmons on because the name was listed as Rosenthal. And when they asked, oh, why'd you miss your flight? And Ron Simmons goes, do I look like a Rosenthal to you?
He's like, give me something to work with, man. I heard it from Chris Jericho, and I laughed because Jericho did like a spot-on impersonation of Ron Simmons. I was like, dang, Jericho, that was pretty accurate coming from someone like Chris Jericho, you know.
I think like, when I did the what's it called? Wrestling Empire. It was the MDK game when I did the FRM universe. Well, damn. I don't know nothing about it. I get along with both of them, all right? But anyway,
I mean, look, I look at it like this. It is what it is.
I've been busy with wrestling. So
I've been busy with podcasting and sweet talking Asian moose.
And slaving away at a 9 to 5. You know, that's
yeah,
and then streaming myself. What in the hell?
I mean, that's how I be looking sometimes.
Oh, there's a toilet in the background.
I mean,
what is that from?
Golden Boy. It's an anime.
Well, I would assume. Look at him. For some reason, I thought you were going to say Sailor Moon.
He got caught fantasizing about his boss and
his balls, or boss.
His boss was this big-breasted, blonde-haired chick, and he got caught like fantasizing on the toilet, and she's like, another pervert, and he's like, no, my queen, forgive me. That's what that.
Caught with his dick in his hand, as they say.
Yeah, and you know.
Like literally in this case.
If you shake it more than 7 minutes, then you're playing with it.
So the limit is 7. So I'll keep that in mind.
I mean, shake it 7 times. I don't know why.
Oh, I was going to say 7 minutes. Gee, who's
sorry,
pissing
man.
for 7 minutes?
I was shooting too hard, as you can see.
He's a shooter.
Yeah, sure. That was at the round 1 I was talking about.
That's pretty badass.
Hell yeah. And the whole time I was playing AEW Fight Forever, I was copying Liam's Kenny Omega. I was like, oh, just dropped you on your head. You're going down, motherfucker. Bang. You're getting the V trigger. And bang. You're getting a drop kick. Ooh. You're going to get crushing Kotaro. Oh. Snap Dragon. Oh. So delightful. So decadent. Bang.
Oh my god! I hope if I ever wrestle Kenny Omega, if he calls matches like that, I'm gonna start laughing hysterically, and then I'm gonna have to tell him why.
Yeah, I got a friend named Mike Thunder.
I got friends who, you know,
They're doing pretty good impersonations of you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, what do they say? Oh no, I got the impression.
Look, I'll say this. If it gives me a chance to have a banner on my podcast that say Mike Thunder is all elite, damn right. Oh,
You can see the Photoshop. Someone make it. That'd be funny.
I know, right? Yeah. So anywho, we got the second match we got to post, dog. Yeah. Because this one, I was actually digging the interest for some reason. I don't know why. But let's check it out.
I did not sign up for a match with this freak. Me and Chris Mercer are supposed to have a match tonight. Where's he at?
Yes.
Come on.
It's your public's title. All right. Jesus, sweetheart.
Murray, that's a message.
Looks like he ate it. Typical dog ate my homework. So he's not showing up, huh? What doghouse did you come from?
I don't like cow dogs, you know that.
All right, guys, hey. Anybody want to see me whip this kid's ass? Anybody else with dog treats?
All right, we're going to watch some education now. How do you treat a dog by Tyler Bodine? With doggy treats? With a dog bone? Or with a cowbell? A lasso? What do you do with a guy like this? Hooting and hollering everywhere. Threatening people with a dog bone. Bodine almost knocked his lights out right there even before we can get the physicality rolling.
Sit.
Is this where you pet him on top of his head? What are you going to do next? This Moondog's not playing around. What language is that? He just poked him in the eye. What was that about? This dog doesn't play nice. This dog might have rabies. When's the last time this dog was given a bath? The American outlaw, Tyler Bodine, in the Hell on Earth Powerhouse Rumble was delivering discus lariats like endless doggy treats. Bodine can't fight out of the corner. Moondog Murray, too strong. This match could determine future pairings for the eventual PWX World Heavyweight Championship tournament. It would be amazing if Moondog Murray could defeat Tyler Bodine and eventually add his name to the list of potential challengers in that tournament. Bodine with a big win on Jordan Byers in singles action with a discus lariat last month in singles competition. But now, must face Moondog Murray instead of his intended opponent from the International Alliance, Chris Wildcard Mercer, who apparently brought a note courtesy of the dog. And Moondog Murray has been a bad dog and is being punished.
Just like
A lot of foul language and all. I would have to guess this dog has used the facility several times outside on the grass. On his favorite flower or fire extinguisher. His favorite plant or sprinkler. Wow, that was a heck of a way to bring your opponent back in the ring. Tyler Bodine. Quick and crafty with his kicks here tonight. Now it's Moondog Murray stealing the idea for himself. Trying to ground the heavyweight fortress. There's Tyler Bodine. Bodine was kicked out of the International Alliance earlier this year. Was on a bit of a losing streak as he was trying to contend for several titles. But cheap shots, interferences, distractions, and Bodine was robbed out of victories. Wants to finish the year on a positive note, and this is his final match this year in PWX. There are critical errors that Tyler Bodine made over the course of this year. He trusted the wrong people, and now he knows he's on his own. He can't rely on others to fight battles for him. He must stand up to the evil and fight it head on. Moondog Murray showing great speed and acceleration with a splash in the corner. And again. Murray in red with the blue jean ripped cutoffs. Oh, he split him down in his debut. Will Moondog Murray surprise everyone? There's the salute, the headbutt. Bodine is grounded. Oh, so close. 2.5. If you join the wrong crew and you know they're not your friends, you gotta change your strategy. You gotta change your perspective. And how do you catch somebody off guard? Well, that was one way, playing possum and then dropping. Moondog Murray, first with the jawbreaker, and then he really scrambled the brains with that time. We might be a discus lariat away from seeing Moondog Murray's demise right now. Oh, wow! Boot to the head. What's left of the Moondog after that? Scooping slam. And the American Outlaw with the horns up. High flying leg drop. Well, how did Murray kick out? That was a shock to me. Most men wouldn't kick out of that. Moondog Murray. He's an animal. But can an animal outlast an outlaw in PWX? Murray absorbing abuse in the corner. Not very good stand-up defense for Murray at this moment. He accelerated, but he telegraphed it. Murray missed. Murray made Bodine miss. He almost got disqualified for using that bone. There it is, discus lariat. Moondog Murray hooked, and Bodine is the winner tonight. Man, he cleaned his clock off. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the American Outlaw, Tyler Bodine. Man, Bodine doing some damage with that bull rope after the match. Moondog Murray took a lot of abuse, and he's taking even more right now. And Murray can't figure out where that locker room is. Bodine has exterminated
We cheated. We cheated, man.
Oh my god. So
Um, I, I'm glad that I was muted because I felt like I was in the crowd too. That's why I love the indies. I can't do big crowds anymore.
yeah.
I used to do big crowds like the WWE shows, and I was actually at the first AEW show that was in DC.
Yeah.
But I can't do that shit no more.
Yeah.
Really,
It's
really fucks with my anxiety.
oh yeah, it's a lot. So I guess you open a whole can of words with that one. So
I mean, we're very relatable on that topic.
so hang on, let me close this real quick. So that was my 46th match, and it was one of my, let's see, it was probably my second singles match after I left my first trainer. Because my first trainer, he ran weekly, but he never let you wrestle outside of him because he would throw on all these false pretense and saying, "Oh, the indies are bad; they're all shit." If you stay with me, I'll get you to try out at WWE, which is bullshit, you know. But I saw that right away and was like, bye. I learned a lesson with that one because, I was just integrating into just Chicago style wrestling and their training, and then just the scene in general, and that's when I learned. I was like, okay, I want to try to get as many shows as I can, just so I can get experience, helps out the ring, or pay my dues, that sort of deal. I was so, especially by that time, I was like, I'm going to pay dues. We're going to do this right. That promotion had a big falling out with a lot of the guys who were training at CSW. There used to be some kind of relationship. I think somebody booked for them for a while, and then that's how the CSW tie-in came in. At least with the school, the trainees at the school getting a place to wrestle at. There's a big falling out. There were some allegations about the guy who runs it. And of course, I never know this till afterward. That CSW was the night before. It was on a Friday. That show was on a Saturday. I go up to a couple guys, and they all looked at me in horror when I told them I got booked for that place. And they're like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Listen, we're not telling you to cancel. We're not telling you to no show, but just so you know, that's not the place to be." I'm like, "Okay." So then I go there, and and seeing how CSW runs and works, especially under Jason Hades, and he's very meticulous, and how how it's presented, how the show runs and such, and then also seeing the feeder system for CSW and working in wrestling there. This was the shits. This was a shit fed, this place. And like I said, there were allegations about the owner. And of course, I found out till way later. I didn't even find out right away. They didn't tell me right away. I found out after I think a year after that. And then I was like, oh, awesome. So I wrestled that match, and then it was my first time as a heel. And, looking back, I could see something there. I'm more comfortable as a face. That's how I mostly work. But I'm always so, I always feel like I could do more as a heel. And I'm always so critical of my heel work. But watching that, I could tell, I was like, okay, there's something there. But I was so green. I'm still green, but that was great. I was super. I was try-harding the whole thing. I was like, holy shit. And then, of course, if you noticed, I was grunting and not talking at first. That was, again, the booker being an old school Moondog fan was like, oh, I need you to be Moondog. A Moondog. Don't talk, this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a try at the time. Now, if someone tells me that, I'm going no. And explain to them what I explained earlier. It was like, it's a modernized version. It's my version of Moondogs. But the lesson for that show was research, talk to people, hit people up. If you see a friend and who is wrestling there, if I see friends there, Okay, I hit up the friend and go, hey, how's this promotion? They give me the gist of it, and go from there. And then and sometimes you can't avoid being on shit feds or being on incidences like recently with me where there was things promised that didn't get right away anyway. But like promoters running out and that sort of deal. You can't avoid it. It's going to happen here and there, but you can condense it to every blue moon, which I'm proud to say I have, because that recent events that happened is the first time that's ever happened. And the reason I'm being so cryptic about it is because the guy is running around sue happy. Does he have a case? Hell no. But I'm not going to light the fire for that. But down the road, I'm sure I'll tell that story in full detail once he calms the fuck down. But for now, he's all like, oh, being a dickhead, but, just as far as I can go into that. But yeah, so wrestling is not, I forgot what it's called. There's a saying where it's like, it's not all apple pie, that sort of deal, but
It's not sunshine and rainbows.
Yes, no, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's wanting to go home immediately. wanting to find an adult and go home. But humble beginnings is putting it lightly for me.
If only Ayatollah Thunder was here right now and you said the word humble. He would have came after you. Oh yeah, you missed out on. He debuted on the Iron Sheik Memorial episode.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
It was just a one time. It was a one and done. He came out with his head thing on, and
the amount of camel clutches in the weeks following his death I've seen on shows is crazy.
Well, Ayatollah Thunder's finisher is called the camel toe clutch.
The camel. Oh my god, that's terrible.
Hey, I'm just the messenger. I don't know about
I'm just saying, I'm just the messenger.
Like, I'm Mike Thunder, and that's all, folks. Like, I can't speak on DJ Mike Son, who's all the way in Japan. I can't speak on Ayatollah Thunder when he's, coming back from his trips from Bahrain and all that,
Yeah.
That's not my fault. It's not my fault.
They said that's not my sauce. I was like, no.
It's not my sauce either. It ain't my fault. It ain't my sauce. No. I don't want it, man.
I don't want nothing to do with it.
I don't want it, man. Like, y'all talk to Ayatollah Thunder about that. Don't come at me. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He makes the ladies rain in Bahrain. He is the Ayatollah Thunder.
The Ayatollah.
I don't know. It was just something creative that night. Jersey Devil was on. We were both live. We were coming up with both crazy ideas, and it literally just popped mid-episode, and it worked.
Yeah, it's just bullshit amongst friends. It just happens.
That's what makes it so fun. By the way, for you to be a dog character, what the fuck is up with you having two cats, man? What was it?
3.
3 now?
No, there's always been 3.
Okay,
Sissy, Klein, and Boo Kitty.
See, I don't remember Sissy and Boo Kitty. I don't remember.
Klein, but Klein never really comes in here, but Boo and Sissy all the time. Yeah, they hop up on the chair while I'm streaming.
I remember Sissy. I was like, that's y'all racist for naming that cat Sissy.
I remember the Sissy.
And then I remember you had like what was it? Was that a night you mentioned about your black stepdad?
I think there was a what was it, what do you call that? The
After Dark?
After Dark, yeah, it was an After Dark. I was very intoxicated.
We all were.
We were all very intoxicated. We were laughing. And for some reason, I brought up the nationality of my stepdad.
And I think it was because of that. I think it was just something in the lights.
It's been a running fucking gag ever since.
Yeah, because you was like, I understand where you're coming from, Mike, because I have a black stepdad. And you said it.
Things I would never say with a clear mind.
You said it with such passion, though.
Things I would never say, especially now.
I
So before anybody comes at me,
felt for that shit. I was like, I support this.
Mike's
Brought a tear to my eye from laughing so hard.
oh my god.
Oh man, those were some epic episodes. Oh my gosh. If I would have uploaded all the MWO After Darks that we did after a show, I would have been canceled.
Yeah, we're all canceled. We're all going.
And,
We're all
and not,
packing it up.
and
We're
not
going.
even canceled in a bad way. I'd be like Howard Stern would probably try and cancel me because of one of them. I'm like, Howard, I'm not trying to one up you. You got me beat. You have hair.
Banned on Twitch and off to kick we go.
Like, yeah, pretty much. That's if anything, I would have been like, Howard, I'm just trying to be like you, man. You've been my inspiration since I was a kid. Late night watching you on the E Network when I shouldn't have been.
Oh yeah, that's how it always is as a kid. You watch shit, you know. For me, it was South Park. I wasn't supposed to be watching. It was South Park and Family Guy.
Beavis and Butthead,
Oh yeah.
especially Beavis and Butthead. Yo, I'll say straight up, Pops, you a OG, because he'd be the one that'd be the lookout guy. Because Mom was like, "You're not watching that shit," but my dad would be the lookout guy saying, "Stop laughing so hard. Your mom will hear you. I can't save you all the time." So I'm like trying my best. I'm like,
what are you watching? Oh, nothing.
yeah, it's like, but hey, he was the MVP for that. I'll give him that.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
give him that. He was the MVP. Pops, you were the MVP, man. But yeah, it was just too hilarious that looking back at it now as an adult, especially as I'm getting closer to my 40s, damn. It just really made me realize how you remember those key moments just from what we're reminiscing about. Man, it's just amazing. It's amazing, but it's mind-blowing, but at the same time, so disheartening. Damn.
Right, you get older.
You know what? Look, only I can say that. You ain't supposed to say it, me, doggy.
I'm not looking forward to my 30s. I'm 5
No,
years
actually,
there.
the 30s are fun as hell. Not
Are
gonna
they?
lie. Hell
All
yeah.
right.
Hell yeah, because you know why? Because you're doing everything in your 20s, but you're thinking about it before you do it.
You're thinking smarter.
You're doing the exact same shit in your 20s, but you're thinking of a more smarter route, but it's the same outcome. Same outcome. Like, seriously.
Yes.
It is. Your 30s will be, trust me, your 30s will be great.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll notice obvious changes, but there'll be certain things that you'll just be at your peak of, and it's just unreal, you know? I don't know.
I just popped my neck and it made the loudest crunch.
Oh, that's been me since shit, younger than you, man.
God. You ever like, you know, do one of these and like yawn and your sternum just pops?
Yes, all the time.
And every time it happens, it scares the hell out of me for a split second because I'm thinking I'm dying. Oh, it's okay. That's normal.
Oh no, I'm gonna tell you the first thing that comes to mind, right? Now this sounds weird, but it's so true. So you remember the Hitman Heart Wrestling with Shadows documentary?
Yes.
So you remember the story he mentioned about how he broke his sternum against Dino Bravo?
Yeah.
I don't know why any chest injury I've had, especially the real fatal one I had where I blacked out, but every time I hear that sternum pop, I think of when Bret Hart broke his sternum in that house show against Dino Bravo. And it was right when he was, you know, getting ready to go singles, but technically Bret Hart's singles run was supposed to happen a bit early had it not been for that sternum injury.
Yeah. I've been reading wrestling books again. That's another book I gotta reread. I think I've read that 2 or 3 times as a fan, when I was strictly a fan. So I definitely gotta read it now as a wrestler. I'm like,
Well, look, I was about to say, what, you're not a fan now?
no, I'm still a fan. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta remember how to word that. Like when I was strictly a fan.
Be like, you don't like the Hitman? That's the best there is, man.
You'd be shocked how many wrestlers don't like wrestling and don't watch it. I look at it like they're crazy. I'm like, why wouldn't you watch? At least like you don't gotta watch the current stuff. Like, watch something. You know.
I'm gonna tell you why. When you go to work, right? You go to work and you do your thing, right? Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to go home and watch what you've been working on.
True.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like when I get off work, I don't want to talk about work.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear about work. If you ask me how my day was, it could be the most shittiest day. It could be the most stressful day. And I'll say, work was all right.
It was all right. Yeah.
When really it's my way of saying, I don't want to fucking talk about work. Leave work at work.
Yeah.
I'm home. Okay? If I had a wife or a significant other and she would have like came home and asked me how was work, I'd be like, work was work. Now let's do it.
That was then, this is now, baby. Baby.
Be like, and look, I even pull off the Mike Tyson accent. Be like, you know what time it is. Be like, you know what time it is. It's battle time. We gonna pop ugly, you know.
Oh my god.
Be like, don't fight me. Just relax. Come here, let me grab your toes.
I was like, imagine Mike Tyson dirty talking. Like,
yeah, exactly. He'd be like the whole time. He'd be like, "This little piggy went to the market.
oh my god,
This little piggy went to the store.
terrifying."
This little piggy about to get fucked by Mike Tyson's gap too."
Jesus.
You. Sorry, I am out of this universe right now.
It's all good.
I'm just dropping blue thunder bombs right now.
I actually started doing John Cena's fucking. Well, yeah, you saw the match with Mario Man. I hit it.
Yeah,
Boom.
the photo bomb.
Yeah. I always love So after that clip of Chris Van Vliet and Santino went viral of him talking about how he made John Cena pop on screen. Literally ever since it's called John Cena. Santino called him John Cena. So like when I'm putting together a match with a guy, I literally just say John Cena and they know exactly what I'm talking about. John Cena, boom.
Let me stop. I can't stand that fucking thing.
That's the worst part. It's like it's annoying, but damn it, it's catchy.
Yeah, that's what makes it so annoying. It's catchy, and they overkill it. And now sometimes, look, we be at work sometimes. It'd be like, dun, 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 and I'm like, I fucking hate y'all.
Every now and again, I'll actually do an attitude adjustment, and I can't help myself. I do this, and the crowd laughs, and then people in the crowd just start laughing.
Hey man, look, a pop is a pop. So,
fuck it, you know, like I never would have thought I'd have like John Cena moves, because like I do what was another one? I don't know if like I know he did the salute, but like I'll do this. No, I don't do that. I'll do the salute with the fucking like falling headbutt and such. But
I mean that's the typical though.
Yeah, freaking I do the Great Muda elbow where I just swing my fucking arms around.
Oh, the shining elbow.
Yeah.
See, if you do the shining elbow or the flashing elbow, it was whichever one he called it. But see, if you do it, I'm not thinking of Keiji Muda. I'm thinking of like you doing redneck kung fu. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like you doing some boom chew shit. Like some Rex Kwon Do.
Oh yeah, it works. It just it's one of the weird shit where it just works.
Be like every time, yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah. Redneck Kung Fu, Moondoggy.
Just take karate classes.
Exactly. Show up with some American flags, baggies on.
It's a whole gi.
Yeah, with the whole gi, the American flag gi, like in those 1990s movies where they're like, ugh. Like you know he's gonna win because he's got American flag gi on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a dead giveaway. Like as soon as it's a movie and they show something America. Well, I'll take that back. Rocky IV. Apollo died in the red, white, and blue trunks.
He died for America.
Hey, look. That's like the Medal of Honor.
Oh yeah.
Apollo Creed dying in the ring, and the American flag trunks. That's the mark of honor. Like he basically solidified himself as a legend. But anywho, but yeah, any scene where they got the American flag, anything that's got to do with it, it's all like Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't think there's ever been a martial arts wrestler who came out in American flag gi. I don't think so.
No, I can't think of any.
I can't think of any. That's a shame. They could have capitalized on some shit like that, man. I'm saying that it just hurts. It breaks my heart, man. Like, come on, man. You can at least they do it in the movies. You could do it in pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, it'd be perfect, right?
I mean, I don't know which wrestler I could see doing that with a martial arts background. I couldn't see Steve Blackman doing it because he just looks too serious.
There's a guy in his name's Doom Montgomery, and he's got like his gimmick is American Psycho. Like he comes out with like the rain jacket covered in blood and everything.
Oh,
but like of course when he throws it off, he's wearing like his MMA stuff because he's legit an MMA guy. So like in this one promotion we wrestle at, in fact we actually had a spot show yesterday for this like cop festival for the local police. In this is the only promotion he's not Doom. He's Lee Wyatt, and he's redneck kung fu. So like he rocks a gi, and underneath is like a flannel. He wears like these tattered up like kung fu pants. So like I feel like the American gi would fit perfectly with that gimmick. You know.
He sounds very interesting.
Oh, he's awesome. Like he's a great. That's the guy. Definitely get on. Just have a conversation with that guy.
That reminds me of Jerry Flynn if he had a charisma.
Oh yeah, that honestly that might be the perfect description of him. Jerry Flynn with charisma.
Does he got the mullet too?
Sometimes he does mullet it up. Sometimes, but like he'll usually get it cut and get it short and look like Christian Bale.
Yeah, he's got to do the buzz cut mullet.
Oh my god!
Look, if that doesn't scream 1980s martial arts movie,
oh yeah,
come on now.
Hell yeah!
I mean, damn. Matter of fact, I got to do that at my job, right? Shit, you not. He looked just like Theo Vaughn, mullet and all.
Jesus.
And I'm like, the first thing that popped in my head was a recent episode I was watching where he had Hulk Hogan on there. And just the dumbest stuff he was saying. Like, did that shit really work, man? Saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, like, did all that work? Hogan just blamed to the kayfabe.
Oh yeah, Hogan's just running with it.
Everything worked with a brother, just doing the routine and doing the vitamins and just believing in yourself, brother. Those are legit things. I'm sitting there like, this motherfucker's full of shit. Literally, that's how I sounded when I said it, because I was sitting out on my patio sunbathing in just my zebra drones and my headphones.
Tanning.
Tanning. Look, ever since my West Coast excursion, I've been trying to maintain that tan that I got from there.
Yeah.
It's at the point to where since then I've been referred to as dark chocolate, mocha chocolate, suntan Superman. I'm like, oh,
Suntan Superman. Oh.
I will take it because the first thing that came to mind was Ron Killings. Yeah. They called that because that was his nickname in TNA, the Suntan Superman.
That's awesome.
Be like, beware, because I'm coming for you. It's the remix of the 3 Live Crews. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That faction was so organic and cool in TNA.
Yeah, watching early TNA stuff, they were super fun. Yeah.
I loved early TNA because I thought they had better factions than what WWE had to offer at the time. Like they had Disciples of the New Church. They had, the Extreme Revolution. They had
Sports Entertainment Extreme.
And then the subgroups that were part of it, like Triple X.
Yeah.
Because they were basically the Freebirds of the X Division. Team Canada. And, who else?
Team Canada was so good.
Yes. Team AAA, Team Japan. I mean, they were so great. TNA, probably its first 5 years were probably its glorious years. Then after that, it went all to shit.
I've been binging from Lockdown 2009 on, because like a lot of the all those pay-per-views are on YouTube. So I've just been binging that because like that's the era I started watching TNA.
The first Lockdown is on YouTube as well too.
Yeah, I think I had that on a DVD.
Still got mine. I bought it as like a 3 DVD package at Walmart for like $24, but I put it on layaway because I couldn't afford that shit. I was in high school. But it was Lockdown, Victory Road, and Turning Point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I had too.
Yep. Because it's hard to watch the first half of the very first Lockdown.
Really? I'm trying to remember it.
Because that was the match that caused Chris Candido's negative.
Yeah, that's right.
Led to his eventual death.
Yeah, and there was in the bonus features, right? They had a bunch of his TNA matches on there, if I remember correctly.
Yep, as a tribute. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. But yeah, as I say, I think probably if I ever were to rewatch that Lockdown, that I'd be skipping that match and just going to the next one.
I mean, I still watch it. It's just I'm one of those type of people. I'll still, even though what he did as a human wasn't right, even though I still have a different theory. I can still sit through a Chris Benoit match with no problem. I can still sit through any of the Von Erichs matches, no problem. I can still watch Gino Hernandez's match, New Jack, Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
I still have no problems watching their matches because I'm going to always be attached. Chris Benoit is the reason why my favorite finisher is the Dragon Suplex hold with a bridge.
Yeah.
How can you not erase that from your mind?
No, yeah, it's definitely really good.
Like, I even love playing him on Virtual Pro Wrestling more than I do on WCW, NWO World Tour, and Revenge.
Yeah.
Because he's got a better moveset.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, does his stats better? But yeah, probably the moveset then.
Oh, yeah. And not just that, you got 3 versions of Benoit in the game. You got You got 4 Horsemen Chris Benoit, you got Wild Pegasus Chris Benoit, and you got Pegasus Kid, which was his mask character in Japan. So you got all 3 of those. Like, I'm telling you, that game slaps so hard with all the hidden characters. That Z button is a motion. Like, you can get, for example, Keiji Muto and you can get Great Muta.
Yeah.
You can get Koji Kanemoto, and you can also get Tiger Mask number 3. Like, you can get Eddie Guerrero, and you can get Black Tiger. Like, that's how cool it is.
Yeah.
Like, you can get You can get Gary Albright, and you can get Dr. Death Steve Williams because they were the tag champs when the game came out.
It's got the who's of the roster back in the 90s.
Because you don't know who's in the Z button because it doesn't tell you.
Hmm.
Like those aren't the unlockable characters. Those are the hidden characters. Like I know there was Jado and Ghetto. There was Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow and Aja Kong, which I thought was interesting. And then you had Kensuke Sasaki and you had Power Warrior.
Yeah.
You had Hawk and Animal. No, they weren't hidden characters. They were just multiple characters. But Mizawa and Tiger Mask 2, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And you can also unmask Ultimo Dragon.
No kidding.
Because they got him not representing WCW on the game.
Yeah.
He's representing War, which is the Dead or Alive generic version. But that's where he got started at. Because originally he was trying to go to New Japan.
And they said he was too small.
They say it was too small. Plus, his goal was to be Tiger Mask. He wanted to be the next Tiger Mask. Like, that was his goal. He wanted to be what Mizawa was. But so then he had to go to Mexico, which was recommended by Tatsumi Fujinami.
Yeah.
Wrestled in Mexico as a Acai. And that's where he came up with the Acai moonsault. And then he ended up going with being repackaged as the Ultimo Dragon, meaning he was the last student of Bruce Lee. And the Ultimo Dragon character debuted at Super World of Sports WWF Super Show in I think 92 or 3. It was
that was okay. That was his debut.
That was his official debut.
Was that the match where he tried to do like an up and over or something? And I think he lost his
brother. Yeah.
He lost his grip or something. He flew over the rope to the outside.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit! It was like he was all right. They were able to, but like you could tell when he got thrown back in, they were all kinds of like jittered up, and then eventually, but like they got right back on track though.
That match was for the I think it was for the UWA World Junior Heavyweight title.
I believe so. Yeah, I actually watched that show.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it was earlier this year. I was on YouTube. I watched it.
I've been watching a lot of the FMW stuff, man.
Yeah, that's one I gotta go back and watch. Definitely.
Oh yeah, it's hard to watch it the second half when it started dying after Onita left. Like it started.
It wasn't the same.
Less, and at the time, and I'm sorry, I get the whole loyalty factor, but I would have taken the chance. And if I was Hayabusa, I would have took Liger's offer.
Oh yeah,
because Liger was trying to get him a spot on New Japan's junior division. He would have basically been Liger level from the get go.
You think if when FMW folded, had Hayabusa not got hurt, do you think he would have went to New Japan, or do you think he would have went to All Japan, or do you think he would have started his own group?
I think he would have gone. Well, he did start his own group. He started Wrestling Marvelous Future.
Okay.
Which, if you notice, it's the acronym of FMW, but switched around.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So it was mostly junior heavyweights who couldn't make it to certain promotions like Toryumon, which later on became Dragon Gate, or All Japan and New Japan. It was basically the indie junior standouts.
The rejects.
Not really, because a lot of, you also got to think about a lot of the guys that you see on like promotions like Noah and whatnot were those rejects from that era. Like, guys like Hayata and he was one of those rejects from that era. But guys like Mineo Fujita, who was in WMF, that's where he got his start from, and he's doing pretty well in the indies. And you know, it was a lot of the guys that are currently in Big Japan's junior division came from WMF, you know.
No kidding.
Some wrestle for what used to be. I don't know if Apache's still going, but yeah. But I think they're now called Freedoms. But yeah, a lot of those guys, they're still doing well in the indies. I mean,
Hell yeah.
But I think their biggest standout was Onryo and Mineo Fujita. I think those two were his standouts. But there were some other guys too that ended up finding work when WMF folded. Because they also had involvement with guys like Dragon Kid, because Dragon Kid basically was, the biggest Hayabusa influencer, because that was the only reason why he wanted to get into wrestling, because of watching Hayabusa. But because he said he was too small, Dragon Kid actually started out in FMW as a referee. Referee Nobuyoshi Nakamura.
Okay.
So, yep, little fun fact there.
Some knowledge.
I know, mind blowing, isn't it?
Drop the knowledge.
Hey, you feeling cheesy? Let me stop. The Cheetos are covering Scope opening Lido King. I need to stop watching Meat Canyon. Anywho, we got one more match before closing. Once again, the entrance is epic because, well, it's typical Moondog. Yo, that's another thing that I clicked with you too. The fact that your theme song is My Name is Mud by Primus. And I love me some Primus. Ever since I was in middle school and I heard Winona's Got a Big Brown Beaver. And then I didn't know they were the same band that was doing the theme song to South Park. So, and then what really got me hooked onto them was the second Family Values tour. And I heard My Name is Mud. Then that's when I got fully hooked.
Oh yeah, I get. There's a lot of hardcore Primus fans that are wrestling fans, and like when they hear it, it's like they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." Gay brunch last year. Excuse me. When the music pumped through, and towards the end of my entrance, when it got to the lyrics, I was hearing a section sing, and then the song cut off. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I never would have thought people would have sang My Name is Mud. So I'm like, oh, if only it was on for just 30 seconds longer, I think this whole building would have been singing My Name is Mud.
I mean, you should get it going next time.
Definitely. It's a long intro before it finally kicks into the lyrics.
That's cool.
But definitely, that hopefully next time if it ever happens, I'd love to see if they sing to it.
Try editing it. Try to create like an edit to where you still got your intro, but then it cuts into the
lyrics.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, been like, because my favorite part was like, my name is my name is my. That's like my favorite part. But
hell yeah.
Between him and Phil D'Arvizu from Korn, those are like my two favorite bass players. My two favorite go-tos. I mean, I do have other favorites, but those two, they have their own category of being my favorites. Yeah. Anywho, on to the clip.
Technical weapons. Heels can't win fairly. He's gonna cheat.
That's right. Bad dog.
It's right there. I ain't touching it.
Hey man, I've been in the ring with him. Don't bring him back to that chair.
Fire the bell! Oh, God!
That's why his name is
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Luke Savage!
So, Moondoggy, tell us the backstory between that match.
That one, so that promotion, Crash Tested, was like one of my first regular promotions. It was out in Indiana, like about like 20 minutes outside of Chicago and Hobart. So I think that was like, let's see right here, what do we got here? My 59th match. So, that one. So I was just, like I said, like one of my first regular bookings was that place. And I was wrestling. His name was Luke Savage. That crowd did not give a fuck about him. I felt so bad because I was the bad guy. You know, I'm trying to get him cheered. I'm like working. I'm like, oh, where are you people? Come on. And they're reacting to my stuff, but like I can only imagine, like all I could think of was like, oh, God, if only like I don't like thinking back, I should have told them, hey, you know, work the crowd, this, that, and the other. But like, you know, I was a little greener back then. But so this is the big story out of it. I get told about the match, like cool, and the promoter's like, I want you to put over Luke. It's gonna be his first win in CTW. We've been doing this angle where he just can't, where he comes as close, but he comes up short. I'm like, hell yeah, that's perfect. I was like, I'm definitely down with that, because like, you know, I have no problem putting people over. I have no problem with wins and losses. So put him over. That's why I screamed, he ain't gonna get his first win over me. Blah blah blah. Put him over and such. Get an update in the group chat for the next show, and we see a bunch of cuts from the group chat, people being deleted. And then promoter announces that, like, oh yeah, we had to cut guys because they don't help with the ring, they don't do this, they don't do that. And he was one of them. And I laugh because, like I said, it's like I don't care about wins and losses. But that was the first time I'm like, well, why the hell did I put him over then? And if you were just gonna get rid of him, what the fuck? Well, of course, you know, things happen. You know, it's a last minute thing. He didn't intend for that to happen. It just, you know, it happened. But it was fun. You know, I was like, when I think of like my heel stuff, like I said earlier, like I'm very overly critical of it. But like that one, I think like I look back, I'm like, no, you know, that was a really fun match. Like I imagine if me and him worked again, it'd be so much better though. You know, but like from what it was, I didn't think it was bad. That was pretty fun. I just wish the crowd cared. And what I busted out laughing before we came back to the podcast was he wins, he celebrates, and then he just goes to the back. He doesn't milk it at all. He just, yay! He runs to the back. So I'm just in the ring dead. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, roll out. Yeah, fuck you guys. I'm never coming back. And then I think actually the very next show, I think was my last show, because I switched to JWA, because JWA and Crash Test usually run the same night of the month, same day of the month. So Janesville is so much closer to me. Janesville is only 45 minutes from me. Hobart, Indiana is 2 hours. So, you know, way to go to the bad. Also, there's like so many more. All the guys I know that work at Janesville and like, all the matches and such. Now they got to crash test the roster. They got some good guys there, but it's like, I think I'm a better fit at Janesville. Though, like, the guy back in January hit me up. He goes, "Hey, what dates can you do?" And and the dates I gave him were just like, "Oh, here." Then 6 months after that, here. 3 months after that, here, and then and such. So, like, I think at that point it goes, which is fine. I don't have any. I don't harbor any ill will, but to the guy, in fact, I'm very thankful for him giving me the steady work for as new as I was, and of course, like I said, breaking out of that first trainer's place and going into the scene, the indie scene. But yeah, that was actually, thankfully, when it was funny because I saw the CTW, I was like, which match is this? And then when I realized it was the one with Luke, I'm like, okay, because like there was one with another guy. His name's Tully Bertarelli. We were given 10 to 12. We went 4. Needless to say, promoter was not happy, and he wasn't too thrilled about that. Obvious reasons, like you got 10 minutes. Why the fuck did you go 4 minutes? It's just happened that way. But yeah, fun times. I look back. I don't look back with it. I don't look back with any malice. There's no reason to. I look back and kind of like smirk and smile. I'm like, that was fun for what it was. And it's like, it was a nice stepping stone to what I am now. And I'll always be thankful for Jed for that.
So, question. The guy who got cut, have you still heard anything new about him?
Clips from other Indiana promotions, because he was an Indiana guy. He's out of Muncie. I've seen clips of him doing stuff for those promotions. There was a clip or two of him almost dying and landing on his head on a few stuff that was, he was sharing. But other than that, no, I haven't really heard about Luke. I haven't heard about Luke in a while. Which is funny because I think when it was announced I was working with Luke Savage, I want to say Liam said, "Hey, what the hell?" Like, wait a minute. But no, I haven't heard much from Luke. I might have to go back and check out social media, see what he's been up to.
Yeah, it's the least you can do, man. Look, it ain't your fault he got fired. I mean, I can tell by watching the match, he just was being a nonchalant dickhead. and it wasn't a character. That's just how he was. Like, he seemed like he's like that in real life. I could be wrong, but that's the
nonchalant for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you could read it that way, I can definitely see why. And, knowing him or, the interactions I've had with him. Yeah. He's not like a dickhead or a jerk to me. He's just like you said.
But I'm just saying and I'm sure he's pretty much a nice guy. He just, I don't know. That's the vibe that I got off him.
I think your vibe is pretty correct, though. I would say your vibe is
You look like a non-king fucking dickhead. Yeah. Two Sabais K Hosser. Anywho, Moondoggy, before we close out tonight's show, please let everyone know the current POW Entertainment Heavyweight Champion of the Midwest. How to reach and book out to one Moondog Greg Murray.
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter Moondog Murray, Facebook and Instagram, Moondog Greg Murray. You can slide in the DMs and we could talk about shows. You can also email me, bookgregmurray@gmail.com. And definitely follow me and keep supporting, because I've noticed in the past week, everything's starting to tick up, which I'm super appreciative of. So thank you everybody who supported me from day one, and thank you to the people who are supporting me now, because better late than never. So I appreciate y'all for doing that, and Mike especially, he was a day oneer for sure.
Yeah.
So but to any brand new fans that are like, hey, I like this guy, thank you for your support, and I hope to see you at shows. I hope to see you following the career, and for you to be able to, if the day I make it big, quote unquote, you could be like, I remember when he wrestled in bumfuck Illinois.
I'm telling you need to come out to the DMV, man. And there's a lot of areas where a lot of AEW affiliate wrestlers show up to.
Oh, yeah.
You got Maryland Championship Wrestling. You got they're starting to have more wrestling promotions in Virginia, but it's more like Norfolk and more like Hampton, which is kind of the ghetto. But I promise Gino Medina the next time he goes to a VCW show in Hampton or Norfolk, I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
So gotta support the guy. But
I'd love to make it happen. So please.
They always have a lot of AEW affiliate shows like Maryland Championship Wrestling, because they got Jimmy's World Famous Seafood, which that place is the hype. Yeah. I live an hour away from Jimmy's Famous. It is all that it's hyped up to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to go anywhere. I got a big trip in October that I am excited to announce once they make the announcement and share. So, I mean, I want to, I want to wrestle everywhere, wrestle as much as I can till I can't do it anymore.
Matter of fact, there's another promotion in Maryland called Assault Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah.
Bill Alfonso is the commissioner of it.
Oh, really?
And I've been to a ton of their shows. Matter of fact, the current world tag champs, the Blood Brothers, they've been on the show a couple of times too, and I've been able to get a couple of photos with them. And when I post them online, they're like, "Mike, I didn't know you had cousins." Like, fuck y'all. I'm the darkest one of the three. You're just saying that because we're big, light-skinned, and bald-headed.
Hell yeah.
Literally, it was. And I met Bill Alfonso and chatted with him. And I told him I want to bring him on the show. And he's like, "Let me know. I'd love to be on it." He's like, "But can I take a picture with your big gold just for my collection?" I was like, "Really? Cool." So not only did I get a picture with him on my phone, he took a picture with my belt on his phone.
That's badass. That's
so
really
I
cool.
was like, fuck yes.
I'd be like, here. Like, no questions.
And met Tim Storm, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
And him in person, he's a big dude.
He's very when I got to help out at NWA in Chicago, he was the commentator for the tapings, and he's just wide. Like, he's got no neck. He's just
no neck, but he's a big. Like, even when I shook his hand, I was like,
dude, like a bear.
I was like, this dude could punch my whole face in.
This man could kill me.
Like, literally, but just the most coolest, laid back, kindest person you ever meet. And and he even told me if I wanted to bring him on the show to reach out, which I haven't. But like I said, I was going through a small depressive slump, which caused my West Coast excursion to happen. And then when I came back, that's when I repackaged my Wednesday night shows to Mike Thunder era, because it just was basically feeling everything that I had needed from the excursion.
Oh, yeah. Get your mojo back, your hype.
It's not back yet, but it's still it's better than what it was before.
That's good. That's a
victory.
victory.
I'm not at 100%. I'd say I'm more at like 75.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. That's very good.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. With that being said, I'm Mike Thunder. He's the POW heavyweight champion, Moondog Murray. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And we're going to close it out with, once again, the Moondog Highlight Reel. See you guys tomorrow night on Thirsty Thunder Thursday as we do a tribute to Adrian Street.